Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Sometimes the blood in your veins feels more like shackles than family ties. We've all heard the age-old mantra, family is everything. But what happens when everything starts to feel like too much? While most people bend over backward to keep family bonds intact, there's one type of man who won't hesitate to walk away without a second glance, the Sigma male. Now, before you picture some brooding loner in a leather jacket riding off into the sunset, let's clear something up. This isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake. Sigma males aren't storming out of family dinners because someone forgot to pass the mashed potatoes. Nope, their exits are calculated, quiet, and, let's be honest, a little unsettling to those who don't understand their mindset. Here's a fact to chew on. Studies show that nearly 25% of adults experience long-term estrangement from at least one family member. But when it comes to Sigma males, this isn't some accidental fallout. It's a deliberate choice, a decision rooted in principles, not petty grievances. So, why would a man willingly walk away from the very people society insists he should cherish? Why trade Sunday barbecues and holiday gatherings for solitude? Stick around because we're about to dive deep into the unconventional, brutally honest reasons Sigma males turn their backs on family ties. And trust me, it's not your typical, I'm just misunderstood story. Number 1. Freedom over familiarity. Sigma males value freedom more than anything else, even more than the comfort and security that family can offer. While most people are wired to find a sense of belonging in their family, Sigma males see things differently. For them, familiarity isn't comforting. It can feel suffocating. Families often come with unspoken rules, expectations, and traditions that people are just supposed to follow without question. But Sigma males don't play by those rules. They don't fit neatly into the roles that families try to assign, whether it's being the responsible one, the peacekeeper, or even the rebel. If these roles start to limit their personal growth or make them feel boxed in, they'll walk away without a second thought. It's not that Sigma males hate their families or are incapable of love. It's just that they don't believe in sticking around out of obligation. If being around family starts to feel like a weight holding them back from who they want to be, they'll choose freedom over forced connection every time. They'd rather be alone and true to themselves than surrounded by people who expect them to be someone they're not. This isn't a dramatic exit or some big emotional blow-up. Sigma males aren't interested in creating scenes. When they decide to walk away, it's quiet, deliberate, and final. They don't crave closure or need anyone to understand their reasons. To them, walking away isn't about running from something, it's about moving towards something better, their own independence. They know that growth often happens outside of the comfort zone. And if family becomes a barrier to that growth, they'll choose their freedom without regret. Number 2. Refusal to play the role. In most families, people get assigned roles whether they like it or not. You might be the responsible eldest, the golden child, the black sheep, or the peacemaker. These labels stick, often starting in childhood and following people well into adulthood. For many, it's easier to just slip into these roles and keep the peace. But Sigma males don't play that game. They see these roles for what they are. Invisible chains designed to box them into an identity that doesn't truly belong to them. Sigma males value authenticity above everything else. If a family expects them to be the dependable one who sacrifices personal goals for the sake of others, or the misunderstood rebel who's always on the outside, they'll refuse to play along. It's not about being difficult or rebellious for the sake of it. It's about rejecting false identities that don't match who they are at their core. Sigma males don't want to be defined by anyone else's expectations, even if it's from people as close as family. And here's the thing. Families don't always take kindly to this kind of rejection. When someone refuses to fit into their assigned role, it disrupts the family dynamic. People get uncomfortable when the responsible one suddenly decides they're done cleaning up everyone else's messes, or when the black sheep stops reacting to criticism because they no longer care. But Sigma males don't care about that discomfort. They won't shrink themselves to make others feel secure. Instead of battling over these roles, Sigma males simply walk away. To them, it's not worth the effort to keep explaining why they won't conform. They'd rather leave and live life on their own terms, free from any labels that don't serve them. Number 3, loyalty to principles over blood ties. For most people, family loyalty is automatic. You're expected to stand by your family no matter what, because blood is thicker than water, right? But Sigma males don't buy into that idea. For them, loyalty isn't a given just because someone shares their DNA. Their loyalty lies with their values, and if those values are compromised, even by family, they won't hesitate to walk away. Sigma males live by a personal code, whether it's honesty, respect, integrity, or independence. These principles guide every decision they make. If a family member crosses a line, betrays their trust, disrespects their boundaries, or behaves in a way that goes against their core beliefs, they see no reason to maintain that relationship. It's not about holding grudges or being unforgiving. It's about refusing to tolerate behavior that doesn't align with who they are. Society loves to push the idea that family deserves endless chances. They're your family, you have to forgive them. But Sigma males don't fall for that guilt trip. To them, principles aren't flexible just because someone is related to them. If anything, they expect family to uphold those values even more, and when they don't, the breach feels deeper. But instead of stewing in resentment or trying to fix things that can't be fixed, Sigma males make the clean break. This isn't a dramatic or emotional decision, it's simple and clear. If family loyalty requires them to betray themselves or compromise their standards, they'll walk away without second-guessing it. To a Sigma male, staying true to their values is non-negotiable, even if it means standing alone. After all, they'd rather have their integrity intact than maintain relationships that force them to become someone they're not. Number 4, low tolerance for hypocrisy. Family dynamics can be a breeding ground for double standards and unspoken rules that no one dares to question. One person's bad behavior is brushed under the rug because that's just how they are, while someone else gets called out for far less. Parents preach about respect but turn around and dismiss their children's opinions. Siblings expect unconditional support but disappear when you need them the most. For many, it's easier to ignore these contradictions and keep the peace. But Sigma males, they see through it instantly, and they want no part of it. Sigma males have an almost instinctual radar for hypocrisy. They can spot when people say one thing and do another, and they have zero patience for environments that expect silent compliance. They won't pretend everything's fine just to avoid rocking the boat. In fact, nothing irritates a Sigma male more than being told to let it go when they see clear double standards at play. They believe that if respect, honesty, or fairness is demanded from them, it should be a two-way street. If it's not, they're out. What sets Sigma males apart is that they don't waste time trying to expose the hypocrisy or change the family dynamic. They know that pointing out these contradictions often falls on deaf ears, especially in families that have functioned this way for years. Instead of getting pulled into endless debates or being labeled as difficult, they quietly remove themselves from the situation altogether. To a Sigma male, living authentically means refusing to participate in systems that don't align with their values, no matter how close those systems are to home. If family gatherings feel like performances where everyone pretends things are fine, Sigma males will simply choose not to show up. They'd rather stand alone in truth than sit comfortably in hypocrisy. Number 5, high standards for respect. For Sigma males, respect isn't optional. It's the foundation of every relationship they have, and that includes family. While most people give family members a free pass for crossing boundaries or being dismissive, because that's just how families are, Sigma males don't subscribe to that mindset. To them, respect isn't something you earn just because you share the same last name. It's something you show through your actions, and it has to go both ways. Sigma males are highly aware of subtle forms of disrespect. It's not just the obvious insults or confrontations that get under their skin. It's the little things, being talked down to, having their choices constantly questioned, or feeling like their independence isn't being taken seriously. Families often feel entitled to pry into personal matters, control decisions, or dismiss opinions simply because of age hierarchies or outdated traditions. But Sigma males won't tolerate invasive questions or manipulative control, no matter how harmless it's packaged. What really separates Sigma males from others is their unwillingness to tolerate these behaviors, even from the people society tells them they have to love and accept. If a family member repeatedly disrespects their boundaries or undermines their decisions, they won't stick around hoping things will change. They're not interested in endless arguments, guilt trips, or trying to explain why they deserve basic respect. To them, the equation is simple. If respect isn't mutual, there's no relationship to maintain. Cutting ties isn't a dramatic or emotional act for a Sigma male. It's a straightforward decision. They don't hold on to relationships out of obligation or nostalgia. If a family environment becomes toxic, dismissive, or controlling, they'll walk away without hesitation. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about valuing themselves enough to demand the respect they know they deserve. Number 6. Redefining family on their terms. For Sigma males, the concept of family goes far beyond biology. They don't buy into the traditional belief that just because someone shares your DNA, they automatically deserve a place in your life. To them, family is about connection, mutual respect, and shared values, not bloodlines. If those elements are missing, the biological ties mean very little. Sigma males are perfectly comfortable redefining what family means, building their own circle of people who truly understand and respect them. This isn't about rejecting family for the sake of being different. It's about finding meaningful relationships that align with who they are. Sigma males thrive on authenticity. They seek out people who accept their individuality without trying to mold them into something else. If their biological family doesn't offer that, they'll look elsewhere. And when they do, they often form deeper, more genuine connections with friends, mentors, or even colleagues, people who respect their independence and share their values. Sigma males don't feel pressured by the societal expectation to prioritize family just because it's family. They understand that loyalty and love are things you choose, not things you owe. If a biological family is toxic, controlling, or dismissive, they won't hesitate to step back and invest their energy in relationships that actually nurture their growth. They value quality over obligation. What's interesting is that Sigma males often find more comfort and support in these chosen families than they ever did in their biological ones. These are the people who accept them as they are, without expectations or conditions. For Sigma males, that kind of connection holds far more weight than any family tree ever could. In their world, family isn't who you're born to, it's who you choose to stand beside. Number 7. Unwillingness to be an emotional crutch. In many families, there's always that one person everyone leans on when things go wrong, the go-to fixer, the listener, the problem solver. While some people naturally slip into that role, Sigma males have no interest in becoming the family's emotional crutch. They see right through these dynamics where one person is expected to carry everyone else's emotional baggage while getting little in return. And when they realize that the support is one-sided, they don't just set boundaries, they step away entirely. Sigma males value emotional independence, both in themselves and others. They believe that everyone should be responsible for managing their own feelings and problems. So when family members constantly offload their issues without making any effort to solve them, Sigma males lose patience quickly. They're not interested in being the family's therapist, especially if those same people dismiss their needs or never reciprocate the support. For Sigma males, relationships should be a two-way street, and if they're not, there's no point sticking around. It's not that Sigma males are cold or unsympathetic. They're just not wired to absorb everyone else's emotional chaos. They recognize when their role in the family has shifted from being a supportive member to being the emotional dumping ground. And instead of getting trapped in that cycle, they quietly remove themselves from the situation. They won't argue or create drama. They'll just disengage, leaving others to deal with their own issues. For Sigma males, protecting their mental and emotional well-being comes first. They won't sacrifice their peace to prop up family members who refuse to stand on their own. If being in the family means carrying emotional weight that isn't theirs, they'll walk away without looking back. To them, true connection isn't about dependency, it's about mutual respect and shared responsibility. Number 8. Rejection of generational cycles. Sigma males have a sharp eye for patterns, especially the ones most people prefer to ignore, like those toxic family behaviors that get passed down from one generation to the next. Whether it's emotional manipulation, unhealthy communication, controlling dynamics, or cycles of blame and guilt, Sigma males don't just see these patterns, they reject them entirely. But instead of trying to fix the family from the inside, they take a different approach. They break the cycle by removing themselves from it altogether. Most families have their own brand of dysfunction that gets swept under the rug or dismissed with phrases like, "That's just how we are," or "It's always been this way." But Sigma males aren't interested in preserving traditions that come at the cost of their well-being. They don't feel the need to engage in endless arguments or try to save the family from itself. Why? Because they know that change can't happen in an environment that refuses to acknowledge its flaws. Rather than getting trapped in a loop of repeating the same mistakes or tolerating toxic behaviors, they choose the simplest, most effective solution: walking away. Sigma males believe that breaking generational cycles doesn't always mean confrontation or dramatic family interventions. Sometimes, the most powerful statement is refusing to participate in the dysfunction at all. By stepping away, they create space to define their own lives without the shadow of family baggage hanging over them. This isn't an act of rebellion. It's an act of self-preservation and growth. In the end, Sigma males understand that they can't control or change the family they were born into. But they can control how much of that family's dysfunction they allow into their lives. By walking away, they not only protect themselves, but they also set a new standard, one that refuses to let toxic cycles define who they are. Number 9. Clarity through distance. For Sigma males, distance isn't just a physical space. It's a tool for gaining clarity. When relationships, whether with family or others, start to feel overwhelming or complicated, they instinctively withdraw to gain perspective. This isn't an act of avoidance. It's a deliberate choice to step back and evaluate the true nature of those connections without the cloud of emotional entanglement. Sigma males understand that sometimes it's only when you create space between yourself and others that you can see things clearly. In close relationships, emotions can blur reality. People get caught up in expectations, obligations, and past history, and those elements can distort how they view each other. But Sigma males know that the best way to evaluate any bond is with a clear mind and a healthy distance. Whether it's taking time away from family or temporarily cutting ties, Sigma males use that space to recalibrate. They look at the relationship objectively, analyzing whether it's healthy, fulfilling, or even worth maintaining. Distance gives them the opportunity to see things without the pressure of immediate reactions or family dynamics. It's in this clarity that Sigma males can determine if a relationship is truly supportive or simply draining. What might have seemed like a strong bond when they were enmeshed in it could, with the removal of emotional clutter, reveal itself to be one-sided, toxic, or superficial. By stepping away, Sigma males don't only gain clarity, they gain control over the situation. They aren't clouded by guilt, pressure, or societal expectations of what family should be. They trust that distance will reveal the truth, and when they return, if they return, it's only after understanding the full picture of the relationship. For them, space isn't a threat to a relationship. It's a tool for ensuring that those bonds are authentic and worth nurturing. Number 10. Seeing through manipulation. Tactics. Sigma males have an uncanny ability to spot manipulation from a mile away, especially the subtle forms like emotional blackmail, guilt-tripping, or passive-aggressive behavior. They're not fooled by people who try to pull the strings of their emotions, especially when those tactics are designed to make them feel guilty, responsible, or obligated. Sigma males don't respond to emotional pressure or guilt trips because they've learned to see these moves for what they are: attempts to control or manipulate. What makes them different from others is their refusal to engage in these toxic games. While many might try to argue, rationalize, or confront manipulative behavior head-on, Sigma males don't waste their energy on that. They know that manipulation thrives on emotional reaction and conflict. Instead of feeding into the drama, they simply step away. When they sense manipulation, they disengage completely, refusing to be drawn into the emotional web someone else is trying to weave. This isn't about backing down or avoiding conflict. Sigma males just understand that there's no point in negotiating with someone who's trying to manipulate them. They see through the tactics instantly, whether it's the emotional blackmail disguised as concern or the passive-aggressive comments wrapped in a thin veil of sarcasm. They don't give these behaviors the reaction they're fishing for. They're not interested in defending themselves or explaining their actions to someone who's only trying to make them feel guilty. By withdrawing, Sigma males take the power away from the manipulator. They won't stick around to be a pawn in someone else's game. For them, walking away from manipulation isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about maintaining control over their own emotions and refusing to be dragged into situations where they're seen as a means to an end. Manipulators thrive on attention and emotional response. Sigma males thrive on peace and autonomy. Sigma males are not just solitary figures. They're individuals who carefully construct their lives based on principles, values, and a deep respect for personal freedom. Their decisions, whether it's stepping away from family, rejecting toxic cycles, or refusing to be manipulated, are not acts of rebellion for the sake of rebellion. They're driven by a fierce loyalty to themselves and their vision of what it means to live authentically. Family, in the traditional sense, is often seen as a non-negotiable bond, but Sigma males redefine what it means to be connected to others. For them, family is not defined by blood, it's defined by respect, shared values, and mutual understanding. By distancing themselves from those who don't align with their values or consistently drain their emotional energy, Sigma males create the space necessary to build their own chosen families, people who understand and respect them for who they truly are. They refuse to be boxed into roles they didn't choose or to carry burdens that are not theirs to bear. And while society may pressure them to conform to the traditional idea of family loyalty, Sigma males understand that true loyalty lies in protecting their own integrity and emotional well-being. So, while others might struggle with the complexities of family dynamics, Sigma males have no problem walking away when things no longer serve their growth. They don't do it out of spite or bitterness. They do it because they understand that to stay true to themselves, they must sometimes leave behind the very structures that are supposed to offer support. In the end, Sigma males create lives that are intentionally curated, surrounded by those who value them for who they really are, not just for their role in the family tree. And that, above all, is their ultimate form of self-respect. If you found this insight into the Sigma male mindset eye-opening, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more content like this. We dive deep into the topics that matter and help you understand the world from a perspective that isn't always talked about. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this with anyone you know who needs to hear this message. Your feedback means the world and helps us bring even more value to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.